Hello artists, today we are going to work on drawing out our Franken-Buddy. We're going to begin with a piece of 12 by 18 paper, and the paper is vertical, so it's the tall way. And the first thing we're going to draw is the head. And the head for Frankenstein is going to be a nice big rectangle. It should take up at least half of your paper. You don't want it to touch the very top or the sides. And we don't take it all the way down because we want to have a body for him or her. It could be a him or a her. Now, this is going to be the head of Frankenstein. We're going to draw two lines that come out. They're kind of skinny. This is going to be his neck or her neck. This is the neck, so they're kind of close together. And then at the bottom of the neck, we're going to draw either a V for a collar or a U shape for a collar. I am going to draw a V shape for this one. You could create the same thing, just make this a U for the collar. And then above that, we're going to draw two lines that go out. And then it's going to come down for the shoulders and the arms. You do want to make it just a little bit bigger than the head because usually shoulders are bigger than the head. So here we have the basics for our Franken-Buddy. Now there's a couple other things that I would like you to include. The first thing that we're going to include are some eyes. We need some eyes for our Franken-Buddy. Now remember, eyes show lots of emotions, so you can decide how your Franken-Buddy is feeling. So I'm going to put two circles kind of in the center. I'm going to leave a little bit of a space. So I'm going to put a nice big circle in the middle. I'm going to have my Franken-Buddy kind of surprised, I think. And then I'll put one more little light thing on the side. And then there's options. You could do eyelashes if you wanted to, especially if it's a girl. You should also think about some eyebrows. So I am going to put the eyebrows kind of up high and like a V a little bit. Like, ooh, like they raise their eyebrows and their eyes are sticking out. Then the next thing we're going to do is a nose. And there's several different ways that you can draw a nose too. But one way is to draw two lines that come down. And then you put a C at the bottom of this so it kind of comes out and back around. And then you can put two little curves on the bottom to show where the nostrils are. And then finally we have the mouth. So if my Franken-Buddy is surprised, I think of an open mouth. So I'm going to put an open mouth, but I'm going to also kind of make it a little bit wobbly. Like, oh. And then I can decide to add teeth or a tongue. Maybe I'll put a tongue in the bottom and some teeth coming out from the top. Next, we're going to put some ears in our Franken-Buddy, and the ears are just little rectangles that come out from the side. And they kind of line up with the eyes and go down to the nose. And then we want to also do some bolts, because Frankenstein was kind of put together. He was sewn together with different parts. So on the neck or on the top of the head or in both places, I want you to put some bolts. So you're going to start with two lines that come out. And then I'm going to go up a little bit on both sides, down a little bit, up a little bit, and down a little bit. I'm going to come across, and I'm going to essentially put a rectangle on the end of this. So I go across, down, and back. Now if I wanted to do the same thing for the top, I would do the same thing. I would two lines out, come up a little bit, down a little bit, and then come across, over, and up. And then I can do one over here as well. So you don't have to put them in both places, but I would like you to put bolts in at least one place. All right, a couple more things that we're going to do. we need to give our Franken-Buddy some hair. So everybody should be drawing a line that goes across from one side to the other, and you can decide what kind of hair your Franken-Buddy has. I'm going to pretend that this is a boy Franken-Buddy for this drawing. So I'm going to have some hair that comes down in front of the ears, and then it's going to go up, and then it's going to kind of wiggle across. I'm doing some zigzags to show where the bangs are, and then it's going to come back down and over. So if this is a boy, then I could be done. If this was a girl and you wanted to have longer hair, you could have some hair that comes out from the sides. So I could draw a line that comes down here. It could go just down to the shoulders, or it could go off the paper. You could also draw a ponytail or a braid. It's really up to you. But be creative and have fun. The last and final detail, there's two more things. The first is I want you to at least have one scar on your Franken-Buddy's face. So for a scar, we draw a line, and then we put little lines across it to make it look sort of like a track. Now you could do more if you wanted to, but at least one line. And then the final thing you have to do is come up with a pattern for the shirt. So I'm gonna draw another line around this to make it look like there's a collar. And then we could do an easy pattern if you wanted to. We could just do some stripes. Maybe I'll do that. I'll go stripes across. And maybe I will change the thickness of my stripes. So maybe this time, it's easier for me to pull down, so that's why I turned my paper. I have a thin stripe. And then maybe I'll have a nice thick stripe. And then another thin stripe. And this time maybe I'll have just a smaller stripe and then a thin stripe in there. All right, so any other extra details you want to add, I've had people add necklaces, I've had people add earrings, whatever you would like to add to your Franken-Buddy, okay? But you should have eyes, nose, mouth, at least one scar, hair, bolts, ears, neck, and a shirt.